Hey, welcome to Ask Me Anything, the happy hour where you get all your money questions answered by the wonderful money mentors of the Money Multiplier. Did I say money enough times for you? Because we're going to talk about money today, everybody. So with that said, we're going to go around the horn, say hi to everybody we got on the show today, and we'll be right back in about 14 seconds. All right. So here we go. So we got a lot of stuff going on this week. There's a hurricane hitting Florida, and I don't know what else is going on. The rest
Stephen brought all of his plants inside to make sure they stay safe.
Yeah, exactly.
I was saving that.
We're doing good down here in northern Palm Beach County. I know, Jason, you're up. You're in Florida also. You all good where you are?
All good, just rainy.
Yeah. We had a little
rainy, windy, but nothing to worry about.
It's actually a beautiful day here today. So, but what's going on with you, Gabby? How are you?
Doing good, actually. It's probably nicer there than it is here. We don't even have a hurricane, right? Right, Joe. It's kind of like gloomy and cold and starting to get rainy today. So fall is definitely in the air here.
But we don't have to worry about any flooding.
No, we don't. I mean, actually, we had a flash flood a few years ago in the town I live in, but I didn't get any of it. But it was like weird. Like, it never happens around here. We just had a lot of rain. But yeah, I'm plugging along. It's, like I said, Buffalo area is not that wonderful. Chris won't be on today. He's got some stuff going on, but we're here to kind of support and represent that side of things too. So looking forward to the day. Next.
Who's going to drink in happy hour if Chris is not here? That's what I want to know.
That's a good point.
I always got my water.
We have our first baseball practice of the new season this evening, so I'm going to be sticking with water right now, so I'm not, drunk yelling at a bunch of 7-year-olds. So.
Probably a really good choice.
That's no
Probably
fun.
a really good choice. You won't be that guy already. So
it's the first practice, We'll give them until next week before I get a little crazy.
So this week you're going to yell at them, and next week you're going to be drunk and yell at them. I got you.
There you go. What's going on, Craig? He's piping in. What's happening out in Colorado?
Hey, the weather's great out here since we're doing around the country, West Coast, out in the Denver area. We're experiencing some great weather. However, I do have to tell you, our weather people need to be fired. I was at the store this weekend, and of course they're talking about sunny and beautiful. Walk out of the store, and it's just like the heavens opened up, and all the water, Florida or whatever, just came dumping down on us in Colorado here. I don't think I could get any wetter than I was, but I was pretty wet. Anyway, staying pretty busy. There's also a hurricane going on in my office with just a flurry of activity. Joe, I know you're always talking about how busy you are, but man, times are good. We're helping lots of people, so I'm looking forward to more hurricanes.
Craig has the best dad jokes ever.
All right. I heard you were chasing down Corvettes earlier, too.
They're not even jokes. It's just how he lives. He just lives in his dad joke world.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got? Carson, what's going on with you?
Tell us about Las Vegas.
Yeah, I'm calling from Las Vegas today to see repping the Knights today. Sorry, Steven. Panthers lost, but maybe you get them next year. Be in Vegas right now, but you're talking about this hurricane so much. I mean, we had a hurricane in California last week and no one talked about it, right? It was it was nothing though. It was nothing. So things are good.
You had a hurricane in California?
Dude, yeah, it was the news. It was the first hurricane in like 120 years or something. It was just a rainstorm. That's what it was. But
yeah, we should have talked about that. What happened?
Nothing. I don't know. It was worse in Mexico apparently, but.
And Joe's so still over there. He looks frozen. Joe, you okay?
Yeah.
Joe, how are you doing? There you go.
Always moving about, I am. Always moving about.
I love Joe's introduction when we first got on. He was on the phone. He's like busy on mute.
I was on the phone. I mean,
so give him a call. He'll talk to you while we're live.
Steven, don't mess with all the things.
I was trying to shuffle this, but it doesn't work.
Well,
Only I have the power.
Bill likes that joke.
Only
He'll
I
keep
have the
doing it
power to do that.
eventually.
All right.
So, Steven, what
So,
kind of questions? Gabby, who's reading questions today? What's going on here?
Let's dive in. We're
Yeah.
lost without Chris.
I know.
Don't
No,
say
ask
that.
him.
Don't say that. Then he'll think he can never take off again.
He already thinks that way. Okay.
People watch these things too. I've had several people come back and say, "Hey, I know you." They said, I felt weird, right? Like Steven's always saying it, but they're like, "Why? I seen you on there," because they knew I wasn't that young. I'm like, man, did Gray give it away? Like, what happened? Hey, what do you mean I'm not that young? I sound like I'm 20. Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay, so I've got 2 pre-submitted questions. I'll start with Emily's. She's here. I'll see if I can copy and paste too while I'm doing this. See if it goes in a million different. Oh, there we go. I can use this one. Okay, so she says, we have our first policy getting started this week. I know it's been discussed that having the money from our own bank should go in and out of a separate bank account, and we have that account prepped. My question is, should I have both money from loans taken out and policy deposits, premiums and PUAs, go through that same separate account, or is it just the money that comes from the policies?
That is a great question, and we covered this a little bit last week. Chris just uses it for the loans to keep track of the loans and what he's earning on the money that's going in and out of that account. Personally, I use it for both. I use it both to fund it and to take the loans out. Like anything that's flowing to my policies are going through there. How's everyone else handling it?
She's talking about the segregated, right?
Yes.
Yeah, segregated account. Yeah. I kind of look at it as a personal preference. I think it's if it's easier to keep everything separate for the premiums and loans, just do it in one account. Since I use spreadsheets for everything, that's how I keep all my stuff separated and know where the money's flowing. But you can certainly set it up where you have one account for your premiums and one account for your loan, or you can combine them. That's completely up to you.
Yeah. I mean, I keep it separate myself, so if that's just preference. But
the segregated account is mainly for after you pay off credit card 1, and that $50 or $100 needs a place to go. You want to keep on paying that credit card, so that's why you would put it to the segregated account. And then after credit card 2 gets paid off, now you have that 100 from the first card and the 100 from the second card. You keep on paying the segregated account so that you know where that 200 goes. And then you're going to use that money along with the policy money to cover credit card 3, if you will, or the third debt in line. It's just for checks and balances for the most part. Because you don't want that 200 that is going to the credit card to go into the other account, and then you can go out and get some, Starbucks or something with that. It still has a purpose, and it still needs to go back to get out of debt.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's a good question. Okay, I got another one I'm going to post in, and it's from Rick. Rick says, here we go. I know that the team talks about Kevin Shortell and his notes presentation in the 3-day. What he shows looks like there can be some decent returns. I don't hear Chris and Steven talking about it much outside of the 3-day, and I'm wondering from a practical perspective if you buy notes like he discusses, and if not, why?
yeah, that's a good question. So Kevin is around a lot more than just the 3-day. He attends all of the experience masterminds with us. He attends other events that I attend also, and he does webinars with other groups and has a really good following. If you don't follow him on Facebook or YouTube, definitely do so. He's Kevin's a great guy when it comes to education, and what he teaches is he's one of the best in the country at buying and selling notes. I personally have not been through his program for the simple fact that I don't have a need for that right now. I have a strategy that I'm following when it comes to my real estate and private money lending businesses. So I kind of stick with what I'm doing right now, but I definitely have a relationship with Kevin that allows me to reach out to him and ask him questions when I need help. And he's definitely helped me. It's in private lending deals when we look at structuring notes a certain way. He's right there to kind of help put that stuff together. So I can definitely, and just from obviously talking to all of our clients, I can tell you everybody that has worked with Kevin has had the most incredible experience, and they're doing great with it. Their investments are all doing awesome. And there was one that somebody bought and there were some challenges with, and Kevin was right there, and it took a little longer than expected, and things didn't go as planned, but they got it on track, and it's been great ever since. So he's real good about overcoming roadblocks and issues that pop up also. So highly recommend, and I would definitely vouch for Kevin all day long.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's some people on this in attendance right now who've probably taken his course, and I know of a couple, but I don't know if they're on. So if you are on, just kind of chat in and give a little insight to your experience, and if you'd recommend, and any details you want to share.
I can throw a few pieces out there too. So we've worked with Kevin on buying some notes. And, to Stephen's point, Kevin has been great. His program is awesome. He really, really gets involved with the understanding of property, what to look at, all the due diligence. So if you are interested in notes, he's the guy to go to. Of course, with everything, there's always bumps along the way, and it's great to have someone like Kevin available to help you navigate it. So I give him 2 thumbs up. If I hadn't already more, but yeah, 2.
And without knowing more about it, I would say there's so many different opportunities to keep your money in motion. It's just whatever you're passionate about. Like if you're passionate about notes and what it can do, then like Stephen and Craig just shared, go through Kevin's program, invest in yourself to learn something new and then do that, right? Like if you have a strategy that's working, why not stick with that? Like Joe, the guy to that side, that guy right there, like he likes to drive around forklifts, right? That's his passion. He wants to do wheelies and forklifts and 360s and invest a bunch of those so Chris doesn't have any to invest in. So just whatever your passion is, learn about it so you have control. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're really preaching and teaching is how you guys can take control of your money and put it to work for you so with a fair amount of certainty what's going to happen. Like investments are investments. They have risk. But that's why we also teach you to run it through your bank first.
And semis too. Forklifts and semis.
I was giving you a chance to talk about semis. I didn't want to see all your thunder.
You have to know, like, and understand what you're investing in. That's the key part.
There you go. I like that. I'll write that down.
Okay. I apologize, Facebook user, but I can't see your name. So it might just be an issue. I think it's with logging into Facebook or giving permissions or something. But Facebook user asks, what is happening to Kern's Capital Arbitrage Fund?
I did not invest in that, so I can't speak.
Yeah, I know they were going through some registration changes and changing just kind of the model of what they were doing, but I don't have any other info either. Yeah,
I guess what the best thing would be to, especially if you're involved in it, reach out to them. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Hear from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
Okay, and Craig apparently has some competition, Aaron, which I know is the truth.
Okay.
I can tell you right now, Aaron has got some great stuff on Facebook. His dad jokes are awesome. I mean, they're some of the best. So Aaron, I would love to belly up to the table someday and do some dad jokes with you, but man, you got some good stuff out there.
In Vegas, I think he's
share your material.
Yeah, we'll do a dad joke session.
Yeah. He's funny. The man. Aaron is the man.
Yeah, literally in Joe's phone. Joe, show everybody your phone. Okay, Corey's got a couple parts here. He says he decided to use his HELOC to pay off the lease on his car. He needs to get this paid off, and he should be able to deduct the interest because the vehicle is over 50% business use. Second part says, my balance is around $25,000. My game plan is to convert my TransUnion term life insurance policy into an IBC whole life policy. And his question is, it revolves around the best way to structure the policy. I would like to take a distribution to jumpstart my policy.
A lot of pieces there.
First of all, he has
to was deciphering all of it. Give him a second.
You have to use your HELOC as a one-pot system. So if you have a savings account or a checking account, all that needs to be circled back into the HELOC, and that's going to start the velocity. Once you decipher the transition of the term to the policy, if there's any leftover inside the HELOC, you can utilize that as a dump before you switch to investing, I think. You have 3 different parts. I mean, I can go through each part of where you wanted to go, but first you have to start at the HELOC, transform that into a 1 pot, and then transition the term into a whole life by using what's left over in the HELOC, and that would jumpstart it. I think I answered all of them, didn't I? Did I leave something out?
Yeah,
Well, is he asking should he put the whole HELOC in the policy to start and then take it out and pay off the car?
He already paid off the car with the HELOC, he said.
Gabby, can you go back to the second part of that? I just wanted to see if he was talking about TransUnion.
Yeah, the conversion.
He wants to convert his TransUnion term life insurance. So I'm not sure. I've never done a TransUnion policy, but I don't know if they're going to be a good choice for infinite banking if you're taking that policy and converting it at TransUnion. So I guess that would be the other piece of it. Who's converting it?
There's a lot
and
of
even on term conversion, sometimes you have challenges being it the way you want. So, Corey, I would say if you still are in good health and you have no issues getting approved, you might want to just start from scratch with a new one.
What benefits is there to this This is the second call today that I have with converting term into life insurance. I don't get it. What are you leaving on the table if you don't convert it?
Yeah, nothing.
Well, nothing. I think
right?
the main advantage, Joe. I mean, if you weren't insurable anymore, there's some value converting that term. But if you're able to get another policy and you're still able to do that, then the term conversion doesn't have as much weight in my eyes.
Okay.
So let me ask you, Craig. So like with the term conversion, like my understanding, and I want more clarity on it, is like, say someone is having trouble to get approved. They do have a term that is convertible. Say the term benefits $500,000. My understanding is that the conversion can go up to $500,000 in death benefit, and that's kind of how you're building the policy, right? Is based on those numbers, and then depending on how it's structured, you're kind of engineering it backwards based on $500,000 worth of death benefit, right?
That Carson's saying yes over there, so
yeah,
he's up there.
Yeah, I mean, but that's also, it would make it difficult if he wants to get a dump in. Maybe we're gonna have to increase the amount of insurance, which would go above that death benefit he's already approved to get. So it also makes it a little tricky when we're trying to get the policy that way too.
That's why I wanted to talk through a little bit, because it's come up a couple of times with conversions, and I'm not really, other than if you can't get approved, doesn't really make sense to convert them. Like, I know I have term on my body still, but it's only there until I do the next policy where it's going to not be worth keeping it. But like right now, for a little bit of money, it's giving me coverage for another 10 years. But then when I hit the point where my human life value, right, like I can't put any more insurance on my body because we all have a certain amount we can carry on our bodies, right? Then I'll let that term go. I'll just stop paying it. Like, there's no reason for me to convert it because it's doing its job right now. And I don't really care about the money that I've lost by putting in, like the Geico pig thrown out the window, wee, like little spinny thing. Like, that money is protecting my family now, so I don't need it. Like, in the future, I won't need it at all. So,
right. Which goes also back to Craig's point of if you're starting a new policy and you can't get approved, you can find another body to get approved as well.
And don't think that you should take everything in the HELOC and throw it in as a dump either. I mean, there's different situations for each person too. If you're going to take the money out of the HELOC and invest it, then you can use it and run it through the policy. But I don't want you to take everything out of the HELOC, put it in as a dump, and then create a hole in the policy that you're going to have to pay back either. So there's different stipulations that have to apply for each person individually too. So,
yeah, which I love, Joe, you saying that, because I think it comes with a certain amount of discipline, right? Because what we teach really is we're teaching people where their money has to go first, And typically it's their surplus money. It's money that they're saving. It's money they already have a certain level of discipline in their life, right? And they just haven't been putting it through an and asset, putting it through a foundation that's going to be guaranteed to grow and appreciate forever, right? With other benefits. So when I hear people that are in a really bad way financially, they have a lot of debt, there's a lot of things going on, the HELOC is like the savior. It makes me really personally nervous because I want to know that they have the discipline to be able to do your one pot system, to do all the other things before that's saving them, right? Because then you're putting your house at risk. That's why insurance companies don't love it, because you're putting a lot of other things at risk.
So that sentence right
Yeah.
there tells
But
me everything, and not to do any of it, because there's no investment. There's no money coming back. All you're doing is taking it from one hole to another, and it's all debt. That is exactly what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to take a distribution, dump it in as a dump, and then pay off the HELOC, because now you created a hole.
He's creating the distributions coming from his business.
From his
So
business,
he's taking money from his business, dumping it in the policy, then paying off his HELOC. I think that's the path he's taking.
But shouldn't it go to an investment before it goes back to the HELOC?
Well, it could. So you could get distribution from the business into the policy, investment, and then the investment pays the policy loan interest and trust funds into the HELOC.
Exactly. So once it goes into the policy, the dump would go to the investment. The investment would come back in and cover the HELOC and go into the policy, and as a run through again.
Yeah.
So if his goal with all of this, basically his need is that he needs to pay off his lease, the $25,000 lease. So what's the best way for him to do that?
So he already paid his car off with the HELOC, I think.
So he owes money on the HELOC.
Mm-hmm.
So around $25,000.
But does he still have a mortgage too? Is he doing it all in one? Is it just the 25? How much money is going to go into the policy?
This might require a conversation.
That's what I'm thinking.
Hey, it's giving us a lot of fuel for this, though. We're talking about a lot of different things.
Now he's transferring debt from the HELOC to his business.
I mean, you can write it off. I mean, if you're lending money, if you were to lend money to the business could then give you a 1099 if you were paying yourself interest. But now if the business is paying off the HELOC, you're crossing back over the water. So now you're going to pay taxes on your distribution unless you did a capital contribution, and you're allowed to take that back out. Like Craig said, strategy call.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts.
Too many moving parts.
And Joe's your guy, but his calendar's not open, so you might have to wait a couple of days to have that.
Maybe tonight at midnight he'll be open.
Yeah, probably right before he eats dinner.
Yeah, that's what it was last night. You got it, 11:15.
Hey man, you have a goal for the end of the year that you told me while we were in Indianapolis. So
I know.
Should be no midnight dinners.
Yeah, I know.
And
Tomorrow's the date, dude. What did I tell you?
Tomorrow's the date, the start date.
September 1st.
I think that's in 2 days. I think you got one more day, so go nuts.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
It's like Fat Tuesday before Mardi Gras, Joe's getting ready to go nuts for one more day. So everyone has some more context of what we're talking about. So Snaggy, you look so good, man. You look like some Florida travel agent there. Look at you.
Yeah, he does. He's booking travels now. But for Corey, I just wanted to end on this statement, and then we can always get a strategy call, Joe or whomever. But think of, when you're thinking about this plan, think of the volumes of interest you're dealing with, not the rates, but look at the volumes of interest that getting generated from each hop. So that might lead you to kind of wiring up what's the best path forward. I do that with my own HELOC. I look at the volume of interest I'll pay on my HELOC versus my policies versus other things that I might be doing, and figure out where's the cheapest money. Go to the warehouse and get it.
Okay, I just have. I just named Steven. This is
can't
what it
see.
reminds me of.
I like it.
Oh my gosh.
One of the best fake interview shows of all time.
He just needs another fern.
Well
there.
done, Gabby.
I'll
Slim
take, I'll
Snaggy.
take it.
Whoops. Sorry. They're all
I like
moved
how
on me.
Carson's matching his hat to the, the poster on the wall.
I know. It's like camo. You could like blend in.
Yeah.
Where is it? Where is it? There it is. There we go. Gotta
Did you
represent.
paint that
You
picture
gotta
up
love the
there?
state of the NHL when you have two teams that have no ice in their state, competing for the Stanley Cup.
Okay, Eve. Hello, Eve. She says, whatever happened to the Amico Atari Fund? Meaning,
Like
how did the
Atari
investors do?
2600?
That was an investment that was talked about at Secret Knock one year. I don't know the answer to that.
I think
I got
Pac-Man ate it all up.
Pong. Good stuff.
Pac-Man.
Okay. He's got another question. She says, can one write off the interest paid on a HELOC if used for investing? Is that easy or a tax complication?
That is a gray area. It depends on if you use the money from your HELOC as a capital contribution to your house or if you use it for investing. And it depends on what your accountant writes down and how he deducts it.
Gabby, where is the disclaimer for Joe? Joe is not an attorney. He is not giving tax advice. He is just telling you from personal experience what some of the things that he's discovered are. So
I was actually just thinking, like, what do you do, Joe?
I
Joe.
write mine off.
Joe was just telling us. We were
The
listening to Joe.
question
Joe was just
is
telling
on
us
this-
that he writes his off.
Here's a question though. What if you take the HELOC and then run it through the policy, and now you're borrowing the policy money to make the investment, and now the investment's made with policy money, which would make it maybe more tax deductible that way.
You still go back
I
to the
don't-
same question. The money should
I'm
be
just
used
asking
for the
questions
house.
here.
The money should still be used as a house if you want to write it off. Just depends.
So I wonder too, Joe, question for you on the first lien versus the second lien HELOCs. If it's a first lien HELOC, I mean, the way mine works is I get a document from the bank. They don't know how I use that money. I get
Nope.
a document saying this is your interest. Well, that's getting deducted. So in a first lien HELOC, that interest is getting deducted because it's showing up on a tax form for me. They don't know how I use the money. On the second, I think it's a little itchier.
No, on the second you still get the same 1099. Yeah, or 10. What is it? A 1023 or something? Some kind of number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what I've been doing. I've been writing it off. And I'm not a CPA or a tax accountant or a lawyer or a police officer or what else,
But your dad jokes are better than ours.
That's a dead joke.
Speaking of police officers, other than Marine, right? I've had many, like, think of the who we speak with as far as our ideal avatars go. How many of you guys have had someone that's worked in law enforcement that's actually made it to the finish? I find like where we spend our time, I find it fascinating, right? Just a question, thought, whatever you want to call this. But where we spend our time and thinking, it kind of colors our whole life, right? Like my mom was a victim witness coordinator. So she would always see things in a very unique perspective, right? So when I deal with a lot of sheriffs or former detectives, they never make it to the finish line because they always think it's too good to be true and they can't get their heads around it and they don't trust us or trust anything about this. So I'll just bringing that up as a unique kind of thought for you guys. Any feedback? There you go. Cops are so stubborn, says Marine. Marine, you're the exception to the rule. That's right. That's what I said at the beginning. Other than Marine, winning. Thank you for winning out there, Marine. You are the example.
Maureen's awesome.
I know. I love Marine. I've never even met her. I just saw a picture for the first time. I only read what she wrote it.
I got her going with the semis this week. So
How much do you need for that, Joe, by the way?
say again.
How much do you need for that, by the way?
How much do I have in it?
How do you need? How much
How
do you need?
much do you need?
Oh, 50,000 ish, depending on what his inventory is. I mean, some people can get in with a little less. Just
Have you
depends.
liked it more? I don't know if you can answer this, but have you liked it more or less than the forklifts?
They both make me money, brother.
That's why he has one sign over his head. Joe, what's your one sign say?
I don't know. What does it say?
It says money never sleeps, Joe.
Oh, yeah, money never sleeps. Wait till I get into the new place. There'll be a whole bunch of signs for everybody to look at.
I want to know where Steven's sign went. Where'd your bar light go, man? Where's your BYOB? Is it higher?
You gotta pull it down.
I gotta reposition it.
Okay, here's one for you, Steven. Where's your Slim Snake?
Oh, Tess.
No, it's Subway.
Tess would be the first one to buy it. Be 1st in line.
I'll break it out next week for you. This weekend, though, is all about Florida State football, baby. College football is back. Pumped, if you can't tell. Having a party Sunday.
Florida State. Bring Jordan's question up because I'll answer this one. This one's fun not fun for me. My worst is a trucking investment. My one and only investment, invested $50,000 in automated trucking business and have been took out a personal loan, have been paying $933 a month for almost 2 years. And the company just folded. The company just went bankrupt and I will never see another dollar of that money. I talked to Jordan earlier. He's a rock star in the IT AI business. Super cool stuff. Getting him started. He's dipping his toes in the water to see how this stuff works. Has 3 kids there in Keep It Weird, Austin. So Jordan, great to have you here.
Nice.
Anybody else want to chip in? Joe's had a worse investment than me. Like he told me, that's all, son. Let's go.
So I was reinvesting, and I kept on reinvesting and inside of the same thing. That's why I like to stay diversified. And there was nothing tangible. So I didn't have a forklift. I didn't have a semi to go against. It was more or less like a fund. And the fund, I guess the person of the fund decided to go a little crazy and ran out of his house with guns, and so they put a kibosh to anything in or out. So therefore, we're still in a holding stance, if you will. So you know what they say: you're not a true investor until you lose $1 million. So after that, the investment gods come over you and protect you. So I'm good.
Way to bring that back around. I did not know where the story was going. Anybody else get nervous with that story? It ended up very, very well. But Jordan, thank you for the question.
Well, guys, Steven, you got to hop out of here early to get to your baseball thing in time.
Yeah, I still don't know how you're supposed to get any work done with this Bring a Trailer website, but it's a
You're
whole nother.
still on it.
Bring a Trailer website.
What's that?
Where Chris keeps buying all these Porsches, and now he's got me bidding on shit I don't even need to buy. It's addicting, man. It's addicting. I don't know.
He literally told us in a meeting yesterday, you guys have to go on there. And literally, Steven, as he was talking about it, Steven's on there.
I was wondering why you were so I didn't know what you were so enraptured by. I was like, what's he looking at on his giant screen? One screen.
Go from one side to the other. Just get an all immersive one, and then the background will be the screen, and the screen will be the background.
It's like Tony Robbins' big thing for UPW, that giant screen he has.
Yeah.
That's just massive. You can stand in front of it, have everybody on the TVs. That's what we need for Private Money Tank. You need Tony Robbins style screen.
There you go. You guys do have some questions coming in, but I'm going to hop off. Thank you for that, Gabby. Yeah, get ready for baseball. So go Knowles. Hope everyone has a great
baseball.
week.
Enjoy.
I'll be around. Have a fun Labor Day weekend. Be safe. Don't do anything I want to do.
Have fun. Don't scream
Which
at
is
your
not
kids.
much.
Peace.
Okay. Eldrin says he lives in Maryland but works in D.C. with a G4 visa status, non-resident. Both his wife and his daughter are his G4 dependents. Can they participate in IBC and purchase whole life insurance?
Do we have a social security number? I don't know what that status would be.
It depends. This is something we could easily, Aldrin, bring to underwriting, like pre-underwriting, and ask them, and they would ask us some clarifying questions. It probably needs some more information, like, do you have a social, do you have a bank account here, how long are you here, how, there's going to be a number of questions that'll help us figure that out for you, but we can bring
They
it.
do have a social security number.
Okay.
They do?
They do, it says,
Yeah.
Oh,
I think it's probably good to go. Yeah, I think the other requirement is you need to say that you're going to be in the U.S. for 3 years, something like that.
Is that under underwriting status?
I think that's somewhere that you have to be. You can't just be here and then leave. I think you have to still stay here within a certain amount of time as well. But yeah, the social security number is a key piece there, or a TIN.
That's why we have to wait like 10, 15 days when a child is born, because that's when they get their social security number, I guess.
Yeah.
And then
So you've been here more than 10 years, probably should be good to go.
Unless it's one of Jason's clients, right, Jason?
That's right. They might not even,
theorists?
have their kids might not have socials. There's all different kinds of.
All kinds of kinds.
Yes, there's all kinds of kinds out there. So.
Okay.
I forgot about that, Gabby, but thanks for bringing it back. So.
Yeah, it popped into my head. Bring
Chris,
a trailer. Is that?
Who's this Chris Nagle guy?
He's talking about bring a trailer. Can we use IBC to buy a business? Like, I want to pool money to buy a trailer. No. Moving on. You know better, Chris. You'll never go home. Okay. Okay. Elgin says they've been here for more than 10 years now.
I would say yes. We would definitely run it through and check with underwriting, but I give it a 90%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's promising. I think we've done more with less, so.
Yeah. Good answer.
Is that a compliant?
We're going with it.
You're the lawyer here. You're the attorney, Gabby. You're the one that's good.
Oh no, I'm just a glorified middleman. That's all. Okay, well, I don't see anything else coming in. We can wrap a little bit early unless there's any more questions that flow through. Unless anybody's got any last points to make or last comments, things to say.
Anybody have anything interesting or anything unusual that they want to talk about, bring up that would be in service of everyone? Fun. Carson, you haven't said much.
I think.
What about your podcast?
You should probably plug your podcast. That's probably a good thing to do.
It's a good opportunity, huh? Yeah, I mean, we're about 4 episodes in now, 5. We have 2 more coming out this upcoming week. And so definitely go check that out. It's now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Google, all the platforms, right?
It's such a cool dynamic. I listened to some of the first episode so far, and it was a really cool dynamic between you and your dad. Going back
the first 1 or 2 just get past. We're figuring it out.
I think they're still good.
Gabby, can you tell them apart? Because I know when I hear both their voices, like in different things.
I started to because I knew who was who talking when, but then in the middle of it, I was like,
no way.
Hold on, hit pause. Where am I here? Yeah.
Well, if you guys have any suggestions or things you want us to talk about, let us know. We're always open to other ideas.
I think Mike Salmon's got a good maybe you could put on the podcast.
Yeah, I like that question too.
Yeah, Craig, you want to answer this?
Oh no, I don't think I'm going to answer this.
You only ask dad jokes. You don't answer them. Okay. The man is talking in the forest.
I think Gabby's the only one here that's qualified to answer this. By the way, for all of us married guys here, and pretty much married guys here. So
I don't have an answer to that. It'd have to be a case-by-case basis.
Depends on the man.
Yeah. For sure.
Depends on the man. good.
That's
Yeah.
a good one, Mike. I like
Oh,
it.
wow. He's pulling out the dad jokes. All right, I got to follow this up with a dad joke.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
First
All right,
year.
of all motorcycles in the entire world, what is the funniest motorcycle out there? Anybody? It's a Yamaha.
I was saying, I'm like, it's not Harley Davidson. I can't turn that into.
That's the first thing I
Harley.
thought. I thought Harley Davidson,
Mm.
Indian.
I was trying with
Like,
Honda.
What else is
It's a
there?
Yamaha.
I go Honda, haha.
Oh boy, now we're in a battle.
we're-
Terry's
Eve just asked
asking-
about it. Oh yeah, and Terry, I actually don't take any classes anymore for college. I'm done with that. So
are you a graduate, or you just decided to put it on the shelf? For
I
now?
am an associate's degree graduate, if that counts.
It does.
It does.
It does.
So yeah, that's that status. The podcast name, Eve, is Generational Gains. It is with my dad, Greg Herleen, and myself, Carson Herleen, where we talk about all things money and business. He owns a self-directed IRA custodian company. He is in real estate. He's lent over $1 billion in real estate, and I am learning real estate. I am getting my feet wet in it. I've done multiple different flips and rentals that we have right now, but we're kind of comparing in our podcast someone with experience in the business and real estate world compared to someone who's new, and how our perspectives are changing and how we have different questions, how the market's different, and just kind of talking about everything. And this upcoming episode, we're going to talk about infinite banking and his perspective and mine. So I'm excited about that one. I'll share with you guys.
I love that you put the kudos for making the decision, right? Because you had multiple things going on, and you can do things with spreadsheets and tracking that I can only dream of doing already, right? And what you were learning in your business classes. But I'd be curious, like, what had you make that final decision to move on for now?
It's a good question. I mean, so with real estate stuff, I mean, I'm my partner and I, we're trying to buy as many rentals as possible, and it's taking a good chunk of my time. And then working with you guys, teaching infinite banking, putting this out there. I'm doing a lot of that right now as well, and I've loved it. And I've learned more in the past year doing those two things than I had in 4 years of college and 2 years of 2 years of college, 4 years of high school. You know, so I've just seen how much I've learned, and I don't want to take 10 hours, 20 hours a week away from doing that to do classes that where I know most of the stuff anyways, because I'm living it. However, I do see there's a little bit of importance to it, and I do want to get a bachelor's degree in business or finance of some sort. But right now I'm just getting the associates. It's done, and I'm going to just put it on the back burner. And if I ever feel the need to go back to it, I will. It's always there. 2 years of online school wouldn't be that difficult to do. But as of now, it just it's not in the cards.
No, thank you for sharing. I asked because, you know, I look at college and I think about this all the time. Education, like, we're taught, unless you're going to be a doctor or an attorney or something very specific, the system's really set up to teach us how to think, or no, sorry, what to think, not how to think, right? And so if we're looking for real teachers, you don't learn anything. And this segues into this, right? What we're doing here, you don't learn anything until you're actually practicing it. Like it doesn't matter if you watch 200 of videos, all of Chris's videos and 49 other videos, right, on infinite banking. You don't know infinite banking if you're not doing it, if you're not practicing it, if you're not, you know, getting those little optimizations and little things, right? So what we teach people is how you can have ownership over your money in your life. And then how do you move it? How do you build it? How do you keep it? How do you create it? And I'm saying all this because I was halfway through my MBA in leadership. So I'm like, oh, I've always been put in leadership positions, but I have a bachelor in fine arts and medical illustration. Like, who's ever going to take me seriously? Right. And I got halfway through that and I was like, okay, I'm doing great. You know, it's exciting to try to write great papers and research and learn about all the different types of leadership, all the different things you can do. But at the end of the day, for me, it was ego. Like, I don't need this to get what I want in life. Like, this is just my ego because I think I should do this. And I've never quit anything. So it was like a huge decision at 45 years old or however old I was to say, hey, I'm done. Right. And so you walking away now is super powerful. I hope a lot of people hear that message. So,
yeah, it's like, I guess that's a perfect note to end on. I think it's not, I mean, college can teach you how to fish, but going on your own teaches you to fish faster. And I think
you got to fall down. If you're going to learn how to dance, you got to fall down. If you're going to practice Taekwondo or martial art, you got to get punched in the face before you learn how to block. Right?
Yeah. So, well, on that note, I think this was a great one. Had a lot of laughs. Enjoying spending my Wednesday evening with all of you, audience. And
well, thanks for prettying it up. There was no feminine energy here last week, and it was an ugly sight. So we're glad.
There's like 8 dudes.
Well, maybe that was a better time to ask the question about the guy in the forest.
No, because we don't get nearly as much enjoyment unless you're there to make sure that we know that we're stupid. We really want to know that as guys. So thank you, Gabby, for saying yes. Yes, he's still wrong if he's out in the forest. If it was Joe or Jason or Craig, but maybe not Carson. So.
Well, thanks, everybody. I think I will end this with the video. But we'll see you all next week, same time, same place. Have a good one.
Goodbye.